what's up, Loyola, and welcome back to the Cover 3. James Rendazzo and Brendan Highland joining us today. I'm your host, Rob Fredrickson. If you don't know what we do on the Cover 3, we go over 3 main topics in sports. Basically, we're going to talk about whatever we want. So, guys, let's get right into it right now. We have the MLB playoffs. They started, and a team is already through the first round, the Texas Rangers. They advanced to the championship series for the second time in a row. And, guys, I'm wondering, are they as dangerous, less dangerous, or more dangerous than last year? James, I'm going to throw that to you first.
I'm going to say they're less dangerous this year, although their hitting is very superior right now with the emergence of Michael Young, who they wanted to trade in the offseason. I think they're less dangerous because they don't have Cliff Lee, who they had last year. And Colby Lewis and Wilson are both good pitchers, but Lee is a person who can just win a championship on his own, so I'm going to say less dangerous.
I would agree with that. I would also say they're less dangerous. I think that last year, the Rangers kind of snuck up on some teams. I think the teams really didn't expect them to be as good as they were. And I also agree with James, the lack of having like a dominant number 1 starter in your rotation definitely hurts you when it comes to playoffs. But they can definitely hit the cover off the ball.
Yeah, I'm going to say as dangerous, and as James yelled at me before the show, it's a push for me. I mean, I know their pitching is not as good. They don't have Cliff Lee, which is definitely, like you said, a shutdown guy. He's got to win you that game 9 times out of 10 when he goes out there, and usually he's pitching twice in a series. But they are, like you said, hitting the cover off the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Young had an unbelievable season. You have Josh Hamilton, Nelson Cruz back to full strength. So Texas is a dangerous team, and I mean, they gave the Yankees problems last year. They can give any team problem this year in the playoffs, I think. So, guys, let's jump into the next question. We have 2 series that are on the brink of possibly finishing tonight. We have Philly and the Cardinals and Milwaukee and the Diamondbacks. Let's start with the Philly game, which is actually going on right now. We know it's the bottom of the first. Philly's up 2-1. James, is Philly going to close this series out tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to say that they're going to close it out because of one man, Roy Oswalt. He's 5-0 in the postseason with a 3.25 ERA. And the last time he played a postseason game against the Cardinals, he brought the Astros into the World Series. He's just a gamer. It doesn't matter. Once the regular season is over, it doesn't matter about the stats. He's just a primetime performer.
Yeah, I agree. James stole my thunder a little bit there. I was going to go with Oswalt, but I agree with James, and I was going to pick the Phillies even before we knew what the score was. I also think that tonight the Phillies are just going to – last night they kind of got in a slump. I think they had a tough time adjusting to the shadows at Busch Stadium, but now I think that Ryan Howard kind of had an off night last night. I expect him to hit the ball well, and I think that they will advance to the championship series.
Yeah, I think we all agree that Philly's going to advance to the championship series tonight. I mean, they're just – pitching's too good. You can't throw out 1 through 4. You've seen the 4 pitchers they threw this week, and every one of them's an ace, and it's just tough to face that night after night, even with a guy like Pujols and Matt Holliday. So I'm going to go with Philly tonight, but we'll see what happens. We'll give you an update at the end of the show, who's winning that game, and we'll see where it is. Let's go into the Milwaukee, Arizona Diamondbacks. Milwaukee's also leading 2-1, and they play tonight. Brendan, I'm actually going to go to you first. Who do you think is going to win?
I think that the Brew Crew will seal it tonight in Arizona. I think that Prince Fielder, Ryan Braun and company will – I think that their bats are too electric, I guess, to keep down for back-to-back nights. And I think the Brewers advance the championship series.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. And when it comes to the postseason, it's always about experience. And the Milwaukee has Randy Wolf going tonight, and Randy Wolf is an experienced player, and he's never phased under pressure. So I'm going to have to say Milwaukee's going to win tonight.
I'm going to go the other way with you guys in this one. I think Milwaukee's still going to win this series, but I think Arizona's going to win tonight. I just like the way Saunders has been pitching, and I just think that Arizona's going to come off the hot streak from last night. They killed them 8-1 last night, and Milwaukee, if they're still slumping a little bit, I think Arizona's going to take advantage at home tonight. But I do think Milwaukee's going to win Game 5 at home. Guys, we saw the Yankees and the Tigers face off last night. It wasn't much of a game. It looked a little interesting in the first inning there. A.J. Burnett had loaded bases, but Curtis Granderson made an unbelievable catch in the outfield, and he did it all game, and the Yankees end up killing them pretty good. But, James, who is the better starter for Game 5? We have Doug Fister facing off with Ivan Nova. Who's going to be the better pitcher in that game?
Although Doug Fister is a good starter, Ivan Nova is the man. As they say, Ivan Nova doubt. Nova's 16-4 in the season, and he hasn't lost a game since June 3rd. I have total faith that Ivan Nova won this game.
here's where you're wrong, my friend. I will take Doug Fister. Though he lost Game 1 for the Tigers, I think that he will bounce back in a big way. I think he will be composed pitching against those bats in the Yankees lineup, and I think we'll get a little run support and got the Tigers taking it.
So, James, who do you have winning Game 5 tomorrow night? Who will face off against Texas?
The Yanks.
Of course.
Tigers, man.
You're going with the Tigers.
As much as I hate them, I hate the Yankees more.
Wow.
Nothing would satisfy me
A
more.
Cleveland fan saying this, by the way.
Nothing would satisfy me more
anybody knows.
than the Yankees losing to the
Well,
Tigers.
I'm obviously going to go with the Yankees. The Yankees played unbelievable last night, and I'm putting my faith in Nova as well. Yankees, let's go.
They have the better starter, the better hitters,
It's-
the better relievers. They're all rested.
We got past Verlander, and that was basically the only
Though I
scary
did hear that
team.
Verlander is being made available in the bullpen.
As
So
well.
if
as
it comes to
CC
that,
is, too.
I heard he's not.
CC is.
He
Verlander may not. You may have to
Ah.
get your facts straight next time. Let's go right into topic number 2. We have the NFL update. We're going to change it up a little bit on the show. And let's get right into it, guys. We know the NFC East has been struggling a little bit, and that pertains to Dallas and Philadelphia. Let's start with Dallas. They collapse and lose to Detroit Lions. 2 pick sixes for Tony Romo in the second half, and then the Detroit Lions scored 2 more touchdowns, making 28 unanswered. That leads me to the question, James, is Jason Garrett's job as the head coach in jeopardy?
I don't think it's in jeopardy yet, but Jason, we get it. You like to throw the ball, but when you're up 21 points, just run the ball. You wasted a pick on Felix Jones, and he hasn't proven anything. You have to at least run the ball sometime.
Yeah, I don't think his job is in jeopardy, but because I personally credit a lot of that loss to Tony Romo making bad decisions. But I do agree with James. When you have a 24-point lead in the third quarter, there's no reason for you to just keep passing the ball. Just run it. Just be smart. Be conservative.
I mean, I think he definitely has maybe definitely a couple more games left in the season before his job's in jeopardy, and I think he'll get through the season as the head coach. But as an interim coach last year and now coming in as the head coach, you really never have a safe job unless you start winning right away. And Dallas does have the talent. They have the talent year after year. And somehow they fail to win games and they lose. And a collapse like this, I mean, even though the lines are great.
There's no reason for it.
No,
I mean, you can't
really
justify it.
And it seems to be happening to the Dallas for the past 4 or 5 seasons now.
Yeah.
You know, since Tony Romo's been there, this fate has been following him
every year,
around.
It's
I
just
think
like,
it's-
the Cowboys could go to the Super Bowl and then you get results like this.
I think it's a problem with Jerry Jones, too. I mean, he likes to have flashy players, but in an interview, they asked him, you know, if George Steinbrenner was your boss, would you still be there? And he said, absolutely not. I haven't been doing my job. So he knows it's on him, too.
Yep. And let's go to the other team we were talking about, the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, they had a collapse against the 49ers. How much blame is on Andy Reid and the man himself? Could his job be in jeopardy too, James?
No, he's been there for a while. Andy Reid's a great coach. I have nothing bad to say about him, and I am a Giants fan. I mean, I think he gets his team prepared each week. I just think that it's just these little mistakes, and I know Brendan's going to go on a little rant here, so I'm going to pass it over to him.
I don't think that his job is in jeopardy because I personally believe that when your running back turns around to throw the ball to his quarterback on the 1-yard line instead of just like lowering your shoulder and trying to go in the end zone, that's not your fault as a coach. That's on the player. When your receivers fumble the ball downfield, when you could be putting your team in position to kick a game-winning field goal, that's on the player. That's not on him. I do think, though, that near the goal line recently, they've been trying to pack it in, and it hasn't been working. They've been settling for field goals. And this past weekend against San Francisco, one of their possessions, they spread everybody out, and they threw a little shovel pass to McCoy that ended up as a touchdown. I think they need to do more of that. But for the most part, I mean, this, like with the Dallas game, was a player-caused collapse.
I'm going to have to disagree with you both. I think that it comes to a point with a coach, no matter how good he is, if he has enough losing seasons in a row, that he will get fired. And we just saw it with the Boston Red Sox and Terry Francona. They had a collapse. The man has won the World Series, but for some reason, he wasn't invited back. And I think we might see a similar situation with Andy Reid. If he doesn't have a great season with the team they put around him, I think they may not ask him back. So we'll see. And but if he wins games, he's a great coach. We know he's going to be there for a long time. Let's keep talking about the Eagles. If you guys haven't heard, Michael Vick said today that the dream team label that they were giving preseason is now dead. We know what's been happening. They collapsed. But the question is now, James, are they going to be able to recover and make this a winning season still?
I mean, I think that they just really do have the talent to recover. But, I mean, the reason why they're losing games is teams are preparing for them like it's their Super Bowl because when Vince Young comes out and says that they're the dream team, like, you're going to go at them as hard as possible with as much trickery as you can. And, you know, their talent's still there, but there's one thing, the linebackers are real weak. I mean, I really don't, they're depleted, and when you can just run and run and run on them, it's going to be hard to win games.
Yeah, I think that they'll be able to recover. I don't think that they're as good as everybody hyped them up to be preseason. Like what you said, I think that now that they have that dream team label on them, there's a target on their back. But I don't think that there's any reason to panic for Eagles fans. I mean, if they keep losing and they keep blowing leads, then yeah, maybe. But I think that they need to go back to what they were doing last year, spread it out, and just throw it all over the place. I mean, this week they had 4 receivers with 6 catches or more. You just need to put the ball in the end zone. Just finish your drives because they kicked 2 field goals that should have been touchdowns. They had the Ronnie Brown fumble on the goal line. I mean, that's 21 points right there that you don't have on the board.
Yeah, the Eagles just don't seem to have it all together right now. I mean, there are a lot of different players coming from different teams trying to play together as a team now. But, I mean, will they be able to recover? I think they have to do it really quickly if they're going to, because they're 1-3. They're in last place in the NFC East. And if they keep losing games and, you know, teams like the Redskins and Giants keep winning games, that gap's going to widen really quickly, and it's going to be hard to come back. So the Eagles are struggling, and their playoff hopes are in jeopardy unless they start winning games right away. Let's move on to the NFC North, guys. We have the last 2 unbeaten teams in the NFL, both in that division, the Packers, the Super Bowl champions, and the Detroit Lions. Which is the better team? Brendan, I'm going to go to you first.
It's a toss-up for me. It's a hard pick. I'm going to say the Packers, though, strictly based on the fact that I've seen them do it before. I know that they can beat good teams, and they don't get overhyped for games. You know, they always play within themselves. Aaron Rodgers is always just so composed, and he just throws it all over the place. Lions, I mean, I'm on their bandwagon. I definitely think that they're a good team. I just don't know if they're ready to compete yet with the Packers on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you, but you made all the points. Calvin Johnson, though, I have to say, is just emerging as one of the best wide receivers since Randy Moss. He's an absolute monster. All Matthew Stafford has to do is just throw in his direction, and he's going to come down with the ball.
On the 2-yard line, they go to Calvin Johnson in the end zone. They don't even think about running the ball. The Lions are very good. Yeah. I'm gonna agree with both of you, though. The Packers are still the best team. I mean, they're 4-0. They're Super Bowl champions, and you still have Aaron Rodgers, who's arguably the best quarterback in the league, maybe right behind Brady. So, I mean, I'm gonna go Packers, but like we said, the Lions, they could be dangerous in the playoffs, and I wouldn't mind seeing those 2 teams face off in the playoffs. I think that'd be a great game.
And I would just say, just to throw one more point there, I think that this year with the Lions being as good as they are, I think it speaks volumes to the importance of Matthew Stafford to that team. Because the last few years when he's been injured, they've really struggled a little bit. But now that he's healthy and they got that defense rolling and Calvin Johnson, who's a freak, I mean, they could be
very dangerous. Yes, a good defense, good offense. Matthew Stafford must stay healthy for them. Let's move into the hometown favorites. We have the Baltimore Ravens. Guys, they just killed the Jets on Sunday night. They absolutely murdered them. Their defense had a few touchdowns themselves. But are the Ravens the best team in the AFC yet? James, I know you had an opinion on this.
No, I'm going to still say that the Patriots are the best team in the AFC. When you have Brady and Belichick, I mean, the best quarterback and the best head coach, it's really hard. They have like an 80% chance to win every week. And until they lose 2 games in a row, I'm going to declare them as the best team.
I agree with that. I do not think that the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. I would agree with you in saying that the Patriots are. And I think that, like you said, it goes back to Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They know how to win. They do it on a week-to-week basis. And personally, I just don't have enough confidence in the Ravens' offense. I don't see Joe Flacco being in a big game in crunch time, being able to make the plays down the field when he needs to. I haven't seen it yet, and until I do, I'm still questioning how good that team really is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm going to be honest. I don't know who the best team in the AFC is because we see the Patriots are unbelievable, but then they'll lose a team to the Bills last week, and then the Bills go and lose to Cincinnati this week. Yeah. So it's a little crazy in the AFC right now. The Steelers aren't playing great. Ben Roethlisberger got hurt. And it's really just, I feel like the AFC is a real toss-up right now. You know, it's shifting. You know, Indianapolis isn't in there like they usually are this year. The Steelers aren't there. But then you have teams like the Texans, the Titans are all 3-1. So who is the best team? And if I did have to pick, I would say the Ravens. I think they've been the most consistent team along with the Patriots in the past couple of years. But I just think the Ravens have too strong a defense, and New England's defense is too weak. And I think defense wins championships.
I think that it's interesting this year to see just like the difference in 1 year. And I mean, I know with Indianapolis it's different. Like when you lose Peyton Manning, you're clearly losing something significant. But the Steelers, Rashard Mendenhall, like, do you want to show up? Please. Like, you don't even have 200 rushing yards on the season. You don't even have 60 carries. Like, either demand the football or get off the field. I mean, this is ridiculous because the Steelers, for as long as we've been on this planet, and even before then, have always been a run-oriented team, just smash mouth, and they're not doing that. And they looked awful against the Texans. Absolutely awful.
So, and AFC basically up for grabs right now. We'll see. We'll keep you updated with who is the best team in that league as the season progresses. Just a quick mention, we mentioned it already, you know, Giants and Redskins, not the favorites for the NFC East in the beginning of the year, do lead as they are both 3-1. They're tied for that lead. And guys, let's get into our fantasy stud real quick. Who was your fantasy stud, Brendan?
My fantasy stud, Ohio boy, Chris Beanie Wells, had 27 carries for 138 yards and 3 scores in the Cardinals' loss to the Giants.
My fantasy stud is Matt Fort, who had 205 yards on 25 carries and a touchdown. He did great.
My fantasy stud is Wes Welker. The guy's been killing it this year. 9 receptions, 158 yards, and a touchdown. He's on pace to break yards and yards after the carry and receptions for the year. He already has 40 receptions and 616 yards on the year. The guy is killing it with Tom Brady. Guys, let's move into topic number 3. We're going to go through a Week 5 preview really quickly. Ravens are on bye, just to let you guys know. But let's start with the Jets and the Patriot. Rex Ryan, Bill Belichick, great game. Who are you picking to win?
I'm going to pick the Patriots to win. One, they're at home, too, like we said earlier, with Brady and Belichick is quite the dynamic duo. I just don't see them losing again for a while. You know, after they lost to the Bills, I think they kind of got a reality check that they're not invincible. And I'll take them by about 2 touchdowns.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm going to say that the Jets are going to win this game. Even though I did just say the Patriots are the best team in the league, this is the team that gives the Patriots trouble year after year. Rex Ryan knows when to blitz his defense, and I really think that the Jets are going to hold it out this week.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with James. I think that the Jets have Bill Belichick's offense figured out, and they, like you said, Rex Ryan just knows how to attack Tom Brady, and he gives him a lot of problems. I think it's up to the Jets offense to do something against that New England Patriots defense, which isn't particularly strong. So we'll see what happens there. I'm going to go Jets. This kid's going Patriots. Let's move on to the next game. We have Packers 4-0 against Falcons, who are struggling a bit this year. James, who are you choosing?
I'm taking the Packers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is an absolute monster. Last week he had 408 yards with 4 touchdowns. He's just proving to be the elite quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'm going to take the Pack attack, and I think they're going to win by 10. Aaron Rodgers is just phenomenal. Jermichael Finley, Donald Driver, all those weapons that they have on offense are tough to beat.
Yeah, I'm going to choose the Packers too. I mean, I don't think this is going to be much of a test from them. The Falcons have been struggling mightily. Doesn't look like the same defense we saw from the Falcons last year. Even the same offense isn't quite there right now. You know, Tony Gonzalez getting a little older. We'll see if Matty Ice could hold it together, give him a chance to win that division. Let's move on to the next game. We have the Bears and the Lions, a nice divisional rivalry. But the Bears only 2-2, James. Will they be able to give the Lions their first loss?
I'm going to still take the Lions this week. They're proving to be one of the best teams in the NFC again, and Calvin Johnson is just so good, as we quoted before, and I really just like their defensive line, even without Nick Fairley still, and Ndamukong Suh is proving to be one of the best defensive tackles that we've seen in a long time.
Right. I'll agree. I'd take the Lions to win this game, and if I'm Jay Cutler, I'm asking my offensive line, please block for me, because Ndamukong Suh is a freak of nature, and I think that Calvin Johnson is really just going to dominate on offense.
Yeah, I'm gonna choose the Lions. I don't know how much they're gonna dominate in offense because the Bears always do have a good defense. But I think on defense, Jay Cutler has never been protected since he's been a Bear.
Right.
And Ndamukong Suh, like you said, he's become one of the best defensive line in football. Possibly he may be one of the best that ever played the game if he has a long, healthy career. Guys, two teams that weren't expected to be 3-1 or 3-1. We have the Buccaneers at the 49ers. James, who do you think's gonna win?
This was a real tough one for me. I almost wanted to push it first, but I'm gonna take the Bucs. LeGarrette Blount last week at 127 yards. He's just showing that he's an absolute monster, impossible to take down. The quarterback for the Bucs, Josh Freeman, is also just proving that he's going to be here to stay for a long time.
Yeah, I'll go the opposite way. I'll take the 49ers at home, coming off that big win in Philly. I think that Alex Smith will continue to play well. I think Vernon Davis, Michael Crabtree, I think they'll have big days. I like the 49ers.
Yeah, I like the 49ers too. Their defense, led by Patrick Willis, has been phenomenal all season for them. And like you said, they pulled out a great win against Philly last week. But I do hope Josh Freeman goes off because he's on my fantasy team, and I need to keep winning those games. But that's going to do it for us today. Steve, do we have an update on the Phillies game? That's a possibly no. We do not. It is. Wait, we have it.
2-1 Phillies, bottom of the third.
2-1 Phillies, bottom of the third. Well, you'll see who wins tonight before you see this. So we'll see what happens. We'll see you next week, Loyola. We had a great show.
Let's go, Yanks.